maybe they don't understand the reasons that we do to buy silver, but they look at gold as an asset that would be used to help, extricate them from the system, from the matrix. And I guess it takes a little bit more of, I don't want to say sophistication, but following.
In this video, Andy Schectman, CEO of Miles Franklin, discusses how foreign gold pricing reflects global economic challenges like heavy debts and slowing economies. Despite rising global interest rates, gold remains strong as countries seek insurance against a decade of borrowing. Geopolitical tensions and the de-dollarization movement amplify concerns about financial stability, driving the demand for gold. Join us as Andy highlights what supports the gold market and why clients continue to see gold and silver as essential insurance in today's uncertain times. So let's get back to the Andy Schectman.
I'll get some specific numbers when we talk next week, but I would say it's been as strong as ever. The only difference is that there are a lot of people who are coming into the fray that never had any interest in buying gold. And I get that a lot. People will say, look, I don't know anything about this. I never would have done it if it weren't for X or Y or Z, whether it be what's happening geopolitically or what's happening with the banks or what's happening here with the lack of unity in this country and the lawlessness and all the things that are freaking people out. They're waking up. And, when you talk about protecting large sums of money, look, we work with any size client. Some of our clients spend $500 and we're happy to work with them. Others spend $5 million and we're happy to work with them too. The difference is that you could put $1 million in a briefcase of gold and run to your car. $1 million in silver is, 2 tons or whatever. And so the logistics become a problem. So this year we've seen an increase in gold sales, but it hasn't really affected the amount of silver sales. In fact, the people who understand what's happening, the people who have paid a little bit of attention or a lot of attention, understand that silver is the place to be. The people who have come in lately, who have never thought about buying metals before, their motivation is of protection and of safety, and of hedging against the chaos. So silver is somewhat removed from their line of sight. Of course, we have that discussion, but it just seems to me that a lot of people are looking to gold right now as a first entry into the industry because maybe they don't understand the reasons that we do to buy silver, but they look at gold as an asset that would be used to help, extricate them from the system, from the matrix. And I guess it takes a little bit more of, I don't want to say sophistication, but following this industry and the reasons to buy silver, because let's face it, you're more the news when it comes to silver than anything we see on the mainstream. The mainstream wouldn't know a silver coin if it fell on their foot. And when the mainstream talks about anything metals related, it will typically be gold. And so the newbie who might be very financially literate in terms of mainstream financial applications is completely a dunce when it comes to the reasons to buy silver. So that's where education and just good old fashioned talking comes into play. So look, the demand for silver is as strong as it's ever been, but we didn't really have a lot of newbies coming into the industry. The people that came in over the last couple of years, you could argue, were a byproduct of silver squeeze and of a growing chorus of hard money people. But what we've seen since the bank failures and the increased chaos around the globe, here in the States too, are people who are just flat out scared and are just giving in, I guess you could say, to leaving their comfort zone. And that would be of stocks, bonds, and real estate. And the first place that they would go would be gold. And so we're seeing more gold than we have in the last few years, but the demand for silver has not waned at all. Well, I mean, you can look around you and you can look at other currencies. Gold reached all-time highs in the second and third largest economies in the world recently, in China and Japan. And when you talk about Japan, gold is appreciated by 50% against the yen this year. You can, if you're looking a little further, you can see it's up tenfold in Turkish lira and tenfold in Turkish lira and fivefold, I believe, in the Argentine peso. So you have gold performing very, very well around the world, and that, if you're paying a little bit of attention, you understand that. But I think really, more than anything, what you're seeing is, as an example, think about this: the world reserve currency is close to losing its AAA status. You got the rating agencies downgrading U.S. debt. You have so much divisiveness in this country, where I think people are just uncomfortable. I think you said something before was kind of multitasking when we were talking before we got on here, and you made a comment about there's a feeling people have, a charge in the air, or a feeling of anxiety. They don't understand what is potentially rolling down the road at them. And so, I don't think that I don't think we've even begun to see anything yet, because this anxiety that people feel and can't articulate, I think there will come an event where they will be able to articulate it and they will be able to see it. And that's when everything with premiums and availability and all that stuff changes. Hope springs eternal in this country. I think traditionally we're born optimists. We've with our backs to the wall for a long time, we have persevered. But that came with a united front. And I don't know that we have that united front any longer. And are we able to persevere in times of stress and uncertainty and chaos? I think we're all Americans, and a lot of people have forgotten that. And instead, we're Republicans, or we're Democrats, or we're rich, or we're poor, or we're black, or we're white, or we believe in vaccinations, or we don't. Or we believe in, Israel or Palestinians, or whatever it is. I'm not making comments on any of it other than to simply say we're divided. And I think we are not in the right place to come out of this without some lumps. And I think that's coming. And I think it will only get more frightening for most people when they're able to articulate it. And maybe it's a big regional bank that fails and people lose everything. And they're like, oh my God, they lost everything. I thought they were supposed to be bailed out. No, the Dodd-Frank Act says that's illegal, and they're supposed to be bailed in, and you lose everything. You're an unsecured general creditor, or, who knows? I talk to a lot of people, and the people I talk to range from liberal to very, very conservative. And you read and hear some of the things, and, you start to wonder yourself. I do. I mean, how much of this stuff really could happen? And I hope to God that a lot of it does not happen. But, there are people that are just very, very frightened, Chris. And I think that's the bottom line. And you don't have to aid and abet that concern or fear. I think if you speak in terms of factual implications, it is a scary time. I'm scared. And I think if you're not scared, then you're not paying attention to what is happening and just how close we are to things drastically changing. You could go as far as saying World War III, or you could take it back a step and say losing the petro status and the world reserve status, or you could take it back a step and say there is some event, we're being told by the FBI that there are terror cells all throughout the United States in every major city. And, was that emergency broadcast thing on our cell phones, was that kind of preemptive to kind of warn us that things are a little twitchy, or the FBI says be careful, be on high alert? Or could that impact the election? God forbid. Could it? I don't know. Some people think it could. These are the kinds of things that I think people are concerned about. And yeah, more of the people who pay attention are more concerned, but I think this is permeating into into people's lives who have never, ever watched a YouTube video on precious metals before. And they ask a friend or an advisor, what do I do? And they call us. So that's a first step, I think, into realizing that there is an awakening happening little by little, just like the logarithmic decay that I see all around us in every area, little by little by little by little, and bang, all at once. And whether you're talking about social issues like cancel culture, which or censorship, which were never part of the fabric of this country. And then little by little by little by little, bang, now it's everywhere. The same thing is true about the de-dollarization. And, you mentioned something at the beginning of this conversation, that the BRICS common currency hadn't materialized, that it was pushed out. But we just learned that a new mechanism, a new financial settlement platform was just released, and it's called BRICS Pay. And it's a blockchain-based payment system, a distributed ledger. And it's designed so that any of the BRICS member currencies can be used right now to trade in local currencies. At the end of the BRICS meeting, they said, listen, we want to go back to the drawing board. We're tasking the financial, the finance ministers of these countries to go back to the drawing board, come back to the meeting next August in Russia and give us your findings. In the meantime, let's all trade in our local currencies.
As we conclude this discussion with Andy Schectman, his insights into the global gold market's response to economic challenges and geopolitical tensions are eye-opening. Stay tuned for more insights on the enduring significance of gold and silver in uncertain times. If you like this video, please share it with your friends and subscribe now for more videos. Thank you.